In 1969, a man named Paul decides to surprise his girlfriend, Iris, by taking her on a special date. Iris is blindfolded on the way, and she seems anxious to take it off because she wants to know where Paul is taking her. Paul tells her to be patient because they'll soon reach their destination, but Iris still looks anxious. Shortly after, they arrive at the grand opening of a high-rise restaurant tower called Sky View. As Paul helps Iris get out of the car, he takes off her blindfold, and she looks shocked when she realizes where they are. She says she didn't know Sky View had opened for business, but Paul mentions that he had to pull some favors to get their names on the guest list for the opening night. Iris looks excited about this, but as she observes the way the other ladies at the event are dressed, she looks disappointed. However, Paul says she's perfect and that she looks like $1,000,000. This makes Iris smile, and they both head into the building. On the way, Iris sees a guard warning a young boy not to steal coins from the fountain because it's bad luck. Almost immediately, Iris and Paul stop to take a picture at the entrance before going in. As they're about to enter the elevator to the main restaurant tower, the young boy from earlier quickly slips past Iris to go in first. Iris finds this weird, but she decides to stay back with Paul and wait for the elevator to come back down because it's already full. Despite this, the elevator operator insists that the elevator can fit everyone, and Paul doesn't have a problem with going in. After he enters the elevator with Iris, the elevator operator presses a button to close the door. Surprisingly, the door gets stuck halfway, and as Iris looks shocked, the elevator operator apologizes and says that it happens sometimes. He then manually closes the door, and as the elevator starts moving up, Iris notices a warning on the wall, indicating that the elevator's maximum capacity is 8 adults. Iris looks concerned because there are more than 8 adults in the elevator, but the elevator operator just starts saying some facts about the Sky View. He says it's 494 feet tall, and the project was even completed 5 months ahead of schedule. Iris doesn't think this is a good thing, but Paul smiles as he enjoys the view from the moving elevator. Iris then looks worried when she sees how far they are above ground. As she takes slow, deep breaths to stay calm, the young boy beside her finds this funny and scares her by jumping inside the elevator. Iris doesn't understand why he's doing that, but she just holds on to Paul's arm. Shortly after, they reach the restaurant tower, and Paul tells the head waiter about the reservation he made. As the head waiter checks the guest list, he doesn't see Paul's name, and he tells Paul and Iris to step aside because there's no table for them. Paul tries to explain that someone named Jake added his name to the guest list, but the head waiter mentions that Jake was fired this morning. As Paul tries to beg the man to let him and Iris sit at any available table, he ignores them and attends to the next person. Paul looks disappointed, but Iris says they can just go to the bar and act natural. On the way, they walk close to the window to admire the view of the city. Iris seems scared of how high up they are, and as Paul notices this, he asks if she's scared of heights. Iris says she's not, and that she's just amazed because she has never been so high off the ground. Paul says sorry for how things have turned out so far, but Iris tells him not to worry about it because being with him is enough to make her night perfect. Paul then offers to get her a drink, but as he walks to the bar, Iris still appears to be scared about being high off the ground, and she heads to the restroom. On the way, she notices that the dance floor is made of glass, and the metal stand holding the Sky View is vibrating gently. Iris suddenly feels the urge to puke, and she walks into the restroom to do so. Meanwhile, the dangling part of a chandelier falls on the dance floor and the glass cracks. Elsewhere, one of the backup singers at the Sky View enters the restroom to check up on her son, John. When John's mom sees Iris vomiting, she asks if everything is fine. Iris says she's okay, but John's mom asks how far along she is. Iris doesn't understand this, but John's mom implies that she looks pregnant. Iris is shocked to hear this, but she realizes that John's mom is right because she has been experiencing some strange symptoms lately. John's mom says it's wonderful news, but Iris mentions that she hasn't told her boyfriend yet. John's mom then asks if Iris's boyfriend loves her. Iris says he does, and John's mom says she's sure he won't let go. Iris thanks her for this before heading out to meet Paul, who suggests going to the roof to get some fresh air. When they get there, Paul says he has something to tell Iris, but she seems distracted while looking at a guard who warns the rude young boy not to throw a coin down the sky view because it could kill someone. Paul eventually gets Iris's attention and goes down on his knee to propose to her. Iris looks shocked by this, and she mentions that she's also pregnant. Even though she doesn't expect Paul to be happy about it, he looks excited and suggests going back inside to celebrate. On their way back in, Iris catches a glimpse of the young boy throwing the coin despite the guard's warning. Surprisingly, the coin gets sucked back in through the vent, and it stops the fan inside from rotating. When Iris and Paul return to the dance floor, it turns out that no one is aware of the cracked glass. As they all keep dancing, the fan in the vent forces off the coin, and it hits a gas pipe. This causes a gas leak that fills the vent and spreads into the sky view. As the bolts also start coming off one of the sky view's metal stands, Iris gets a feeling that something weird is about to happen, and she slowly moves away from the dance floor. Almost immediately, the glass floor breaks, and some of the people dancing on it fall off. Paul manages to hang on for a while, but as he eventually falls off, Iris looks devastated. As everyone panics, a chef accidentally sets a woman on fire, and after walking close to the vents, she causes a huge explosion that kills nearly everyone in the restaurant. Iris survives this and tries to run toward the stairs, but that part of the sky view suddenly collapses, and a few people end up dying. The elevator operator then suggests taking the elevator, and everyone runs toward it. As Iris is about to go in, someone pushes her back to take her spot, but everyone in the elevator eventually dies. Suddenly, a part of the sky view breaks off, but Iris manages to move quickly to the safe side, which is on fire. Iris looks devastated by everything that has happened, and as she wonders what to do next, John shows up and asks for help. It turns out that John is the only other person alive, and Iris quickly helps him. When a part of the sky view breaks again, Iris's ring saves her from falling off immediately with John. However, the ring is unable to hold their weight for long, and they both fall to their death. Almost immediately, a girl named Stefani wakes up from her dream and screams in fear. Interestingly, Stefani is in a class, and the lecturer doesn't seem to understand why she just screamed. After everyone leaves, he calls her back to have a word with her. That night, Stefani has another dream about Iris and the sky view, and as she screams again, her roommate seems pissed. Stefani then explains that she has been having the same dream and seeing someone who might be her grandmother, whose name is also Iris. Stefani's roommate seems tired of the situation because Stefani has been disturbing her sleep for the past 2 months. She then tells Stefani to consider going home to find out more about her grandmother. The next day, Stefani takes her roommate's advice and heads home. When she gets there, her dad, Marty, looks surprised to see her. Stefani says she's looking for some of her mom Darlene's old things because she wants to find out more about Iris. Marty doesn't like this, and he says he threw out Darlene's things a while ago. Just then, Stefani's brother, Charlie, comes downstairs and doesn't really look happy to see his sister. He asks Marty if he can head out to see his cousins, and Stefani says she'd like to follow him because she also wants to speak to their uncle, Howard, who is Darlene's brother. Marty warns Stefani not to ask Howard about Iris, and she says she won't. After she leaves the house with Charlie, she tells him that she's currently on academic probation. Charlie finds this funny, but Stefani says it's because of the weird dreams she has been having about their grandmother. Shortly after, they arrive at Howard's house and meet their cousins, Eric, Bobby, and Julia. They look surprised to see Stefani, but she says she just came home to do something. As they eventually ignore her, she heads to the kitchen and meets Howard and his wife, Brenda, who look pleased to see her. Stephanie then mentions that she wants to talk about Iris, but Howard says there's nothing to discuss. As Stefani says she has been having weird dreams about Iris and the sky view, Howard and Brenda look shocked, but they still refuse to say anything about the subject. Howard's kids eventually enter the kitchen and ask what's going on. Charlie tells them about Stefani's dreams, and Howard insists that he doesn't want to talk about Iris. However, Stefani says she believes talking to Iris might help her. Howard doesn't think so, and he says that Iris is a messed up woman. He adds that Iris is the reason why Darlene is so screwed up. Stefani looks confused, but Howard talks about how Iris locked him and Darlene up in the house after their dad died. He says that Iris was always cooking up stories about horrible ways they could die, and it was so serious that the state intervened and sent him and Darlene to a foster foster home. Despite this, Iris still tracked them through foster care, and after Howard's kids were born, she started sending them horrible letters filled with obituaries and disturbing pictures of dead bodies. Howard adds that he had to move his family away from their former place of residence so that Iris would stop sending them letters. Stefani asks about the letters, but Howard and the others ignore her. Just then, Stefani begs Brenda to help her find Iris so she can understand why she's having the weird dreams. After this, Brenda secretly tells Stefani where to find the letters, and she thanks her aunt. Stefani then finds Iris's address on the letters, and she heads there immediately. Interestingly, Iris is living in an old cabin in the middle of nowhere. When Stefani gets to the gate, Iris speaks through the comms and tells her to go away. However, as Stefani introduces herself as Iris's granddaughter, Iris calms down and tells her to empty her pockets at the gate. After Stefani does this, the gate opens, and she sees different traps arranged outside the house. When Stefani gets to the door, Iris tells her to come in quickly. As Stefani enters the cabin, Iris tells her to stand for a while before she sits. Stefani looks confused, but Iris says death can't get her distracted. After she eventually tells Stefani to sit, she asks about Darlene. Stefani says she has no idea because her mom left when she was young. She adds that the reason she came is because she has been having dreams about Iris's date at the Skyview. Iris looks shocked by this and says that Stefani's dream was her premonition. She says she saw everyone die at the tower before it happened, and she did everything to stop the events from unfolding. Stefani realizes that her grandmother stopped a disaster, and Iris confirms this. She adds that the Skyview was closed after that, and the owners never reopened it. As Stefani continues listening, Iris mentions that the only problem with what she did is that Death doesn't like it when someone messes with his plans. Stefani looks confused, but Iris explains that Death revisited everyone who was supposed to die at the Skyview in the exact same order that she saw in her premonition. She adds that despite spending years studying Death to know his every move so he won't get to her easily, he has eventually reached her through cancer. Iris says she got diagnosed 2 months ago, and Stefani points out that she started having her dreams around the same time. Iris then brings out a book containing everything she has studied over the years. She says that Stefani will have to stay with her in the cabin to learn everything she needs to do because Death is coming for their family. Stefani says she has to go back to school and she'll probably visit Iris later. Iris says she doesn't have much time left and that she hasn't even gone out in 20 years. Stefani starts wondering if Howard was right about Iris being messed up, and she says she has to leave. As Stefani heads out, Iris tries to follow her, but she just stops at the entrance because she's scared that Death might get to her if she leaves. After thinking about it for a while, Iris summons the courage to go after Stefani and give her the book. Stefani still doesn't believe everything her grandmother just said, but Iris suddenly gets the feeling that Death is around. She then hands Stefani the book and says she believes her granddaughter needs to see things for herself. Stefani looks confused, but as Iris steps back, a chain of events suddenly causes a weather vane to kill her. The next day, after Iris's funeral, Marty and Howard console Stefani for having to see how Iris died. Stefani then says she probably shouldn't have gone there because Iris kept talking about Death coming for the family. Almost immediately, Darlene arrives in her camper van, and they all look surprised to see her. Howard quickly heads over to meet his sister, and he invites her to join them because he's excited to see her. Stefani doesn't look pleased, and as she heads toward her car, Charlie follows her and asks if she won't even try to talk to their mom. Stefani doesn't think it's worth it because Darlene abandoned them. Charlie believes his sister has also been like that. Stefani doesn't understand this, but Charlie complains about how she never returns his calls when she's in school. Stefani says she's not crazy like their mom, but Charlie believes she just doesn't care. After Charlie walks away, Stefani heads home to Marty's house, while every other person returns to Howard's house for a family barbecue. At Howard's house, Howard's family starts getting things together for the barbecue. Bobby accidentally breaks a glass cup, and as he cleans up the broken pieces, he doesn't notice that there's one right on the ice in the sink. Darlene soon arrives with some cookies, and Charlie looks excited to try them. However, Charlie notices that she added peanut butter to the cookies, and he looks worried because Bobby is allergic. Darlene immediately realizes her mistake and says she's sorry for forgetting about Bobby's allergy. After this, Bobby puts ice in all the cups and fills them with lemonade. Unfortunately, he still doesn't notice that there's now a shard of glass inside one of the cups. After everyone gets a cup of lemonade, Howard gives a speech, saying how much he loves his entire family. Back at Marty's house, Stefani decides to check the book Iris gave to her. As she opens it, she sees a couple of scary scenarios which could lead to death. A brutal death at a family barbecue is one of the scenarios in the book, and Stefani looks shocked. Coincidentally, as Eric fires up the grill, a family photo falls off a shelf in Marty's house, and a shard of glass moves towards Stefani. This gets her scared, and she immediately leaves for Howard's house to warn everyone that something is about to happen. Back at Howard's house, Howard offers to let Darlene stay with his family, but she says the kids are better off without her. Interestingly, Marty is the one with the broken glass in his lemonade, but he's unaware as he's about to drink from his cup. Bobby and Charlie call Howard to join them on the trampoline. Marty then drops his cup and joins them in cheering for Howard to play with the boys. Almost immediately, Darlene spots a rake under the trampoline and quickly removes it before they start jumping. As she places the rake on the fence, Brenda accidentally knocks down a bottle that turns on a hose, which causes the rakes near the fence to start falling. Just then, Stefani arrives, and Howard says it's good to see that the whole family is now at the house. Suddenly, the trampoline gets torn while Bobby is jumping on it, and as Julia gets distracted, she accidentally knocks down a Jenga tower. Marty's drink also gets knocked down in the process, and Howard steps on the broken piece of glass. He screams in pain but says he's fine, and everyone looks relieved. However, one of the rakes suddenly hits the lawnmower and turns it on. As Howard falls down while holding his injured leg, the lawnmower's blade crushes his face, leaving everyone devastated. After his funeral, Stefani looks at Iris's book again and sees the obituaries of everyone who was supposed to die at the sky view. She also sees a message in the book about someone named JB who knows a person who survived. After this, Stefani realizes that everyone from Iris's bloodline will die, just like her, because they weren't supposed to be born. Charlie then sees Stefani putting up the obituaries on the wall, and he looks confused. The next day, Stefani calls the remaining members of the family and explains that death is coming for them, just like Iris said. She tells them about how death came for everyone who survived at the sky view due to Iris's premonition. She adds that Iris and a little boy were the last ones to die in the premonition, and that's why it took a while for death to get to her grandmother. As everyone looks confused, Stefani explains that they're all still alive because Iris kept death at bay for decades. She says it has now come for them, starting with Howard, and that Eric will be next because he's Howard's first child. She also mentions that Marty and Brenda are the only ones unaffected because they're not part of Iris's bloodline. Bobby looks scared, but Eric and Julia don't believe Stefani. Brenda also feels overwhelmed because she's still grieving, and she walks away with her kids. As Stefani looks disappointed, Darlene says the things Iris talked about aren't real. Stefani doesn't get why Darlene would say that, even though Iris taught her a few things about death. Darlene then says she doesn't want Iris's stories to derail Stefani's life like they did to her. That night, Eric closes late from the tattoo parlor where he works. As he prepares to close the shop, a strange chain of events leaves him battling for his life when a chain from the ceiling gets stuck on his nose ring. Eric manages to remove it, but he accidentally sets the tattoo parlor on fire. The next morning, Stefani wakes Charlie up and complains that Eric hasn't been responding to her texts. As they leave the house, Charlie gets a text from a friend who informs him that the tattoo parlor was on fire last night. Stefani and Charlie look scared, but they suddenly bump into Eric, who is walking on the road. Stefani and Charlie immediately get out of the car to ask what happened at the tattoo parlor. Eric then mentions that he survived because he was wearing a leather jacket. Stefani still thinks he has to be careful, but Eric doesn't believe that death is really after him. As he stands on the road, a truck nearly hits him, and even though Stefani and Charlie look scared, he jokes that he's probably invincible. Stefani and Charlie still try to convince him to be careful, but he ignores them. On their way to Howard's house, Stefani sees a tree trimmer stuck on a tree, and she tells Eric to stay away from it. She also tells him to be careful around the boys playing football in the area. Charlie doesn't think the boys can hit Eric with the ball, but Stefani says it's possible. She adds that if the tree trimmer falls and hits the leaf blower guy in the area, he might blow something into the eyes of one of the boys, who could kick the ball to hit Eric's face. Eric still doesn't believe it's possible, and as they get to the house, Julia comes outside and looks ready for her morning jog. Almost immediately, a garbage truck parks in front of the house to pick up the garbage bin. Stefani tells Eric to stay away from it, but he moves closer to show that nothing can happen to him. Meanwhile, as Julia starts jogging, a chain of events involving the tree trimmer, the leaf blower guy, and the football gets her knocked into a garbage bin that is automatically dumped into the compactor. As she screams for help, Stefani and the others quickly run after the truck, but it turns out that the driver is using headphones and he can't hear them. Before Stefani can pull Julia out, she gets crushed in the compactor. After they all return to the house looking devastated, Bobby says they should have believed Stefani. Stefani says she's actually at fault because she messed up the order by putting Eric first. However, Brenda says it's her fault because Eric isn't Howard's child. They all look shocked by this, and Bobby realizes that he's next. He tells Stefani to help him, but she says she doesn't know how. Charlie believes she can figure it out because she knew how death was going to strike using the tree trimmer and the other things. Darlene asks if that's right, but Marty tells her not to traumatize the kids. Darlene says she thinks Stefani can figure it out, but Marty just mentions that he's going out to take a walk. After he leaves, Bobby asks about the person Iris wrote about in her book. As Stefani says it's someone named JB, Darlene remembers that Iris had a friend with that name. She also remembers that the person used to work at a hospital in the area. Bobby suggests going there together, but Stefani and the others advise him to stay back. Bobby says there are many ways he could die at home, and he doesn't want that. Following this, they all leave in Darlene's van. On the way, Stefani still seems pissed that her mom abandoned her as a child, but Darlene says she had to do it because she didn't want to ruin their lives by being overprotective like Iris. Shortly after, they arrive at the hospital and find JB, who happens to be John from the Skyview. They all look surprised, but John says Iris saved him at the Skyview. He adds that they eventually became friends and shared ideas on how to deal with death. He says he also helped fortify Iris's cabin, and Stefani asks if he really knows someone who survived. John then points out that there are only two ways to survive, and it's either to kill someone and take what's left of their time on Earth, or to die and be brought back to life. Stefani and the others don't understand the second option, but John explains that there was someone who flatlined and was brought back to life by a doctor. Stefani asks why John and Iris didn't try it, but he says they couldn't take the risk because things get really ugly when people try to trick death. Stefani then asks for John's help, but he says they can't run away from death. He adds that he has cancer and he'll just wait to die next after everyone from Iris's bloodline is dead. After he leaves the hospital, Stefani looks scared, but Darlene says she's sure they'll find a way to hold off death like Iris did. Meanwhile, Eric convinces Bobby to consider trying the second option by triggering Bobby's nut allergy and getting a doctor at the hospital to bring him back to life. They then leave John's office secretly and go to a vending machine to get a snack with peanuts. After this, they enter a nearby MRI room. Bobby looks scared as he stares at the snack, but Eric convinces him to eat it after taking away his EpiPen. Bobby then eats the snack and starts struggling to breathe well, but Eric doesn't help him because the plan is for him to die. Suddenly, a chain of events gets the MRI machine turned on. As it starts malfunctioning, the intensity increases and the machine pulls out Eric's piercings. A wheelchair also pushes Eric toward the machine, and his body gets crushed. Interestingly, a nurse sitting near the room notices that metal objects are flying toward a particular direction. Back in the room, Bobby tries to get the EpiPen from his dead brother. After he grabs it and injects himself with it, the nurse opens the door, and a loose spring from the vending machine crushes Bobby's head. The nurse screams in shock, and Darlene, Stefani, and Charlie also arrive right on time to see this. As they then wonder what to do next, Stefani suggests going to Iris's cabin because it's the safest place they know. When they get there, they notice that the gate is locked, and Stefani senses that Death is about to make a move. She then drives through the gate, but as she's about to get out of the van, she realizes that her seatbelt is stuck. Despite this, she tells Darlene and Charlie to head into the house because she believes nothing will happen to her as long as her mom is still alive. As Darlene and Charlie are about to enter the house, a chain of events causes an explosion that burns the place down and knocks the van into a pool of water. Stefani still has difficulty removing the seatbelt, and she starts drowning. Charlie is now stuck under a heavy object, but Darlene quickly helps him. As she tells him to go and help his sister while she tries to stay alive, she suddenly gets killed by a lamppost. Charlie looks devastated, but he still heads into the van to help his sister. Stefani eventually loses consciousness, but Charlie manages to revive her. Stefani looks happy because Charlie just brought her back to life, but she looks sad when she hears about their mom's death. After this, they both head home since they're now free from death. 1 week later, Charlie wears a suit and looks prepared to pick up his date, Jenny, for prom. Elsewhere, a coin falls out of an old lady's purse and rolls down until it gets stuck in the nearby train tracks. Meanwhile, Marty and Stefani follow Charlie to Jenny's house because she lives nearby. Jenny's dad eventually shows up to praise Charlie for saving Stefani the other day. Stefani says he really brought her back from the dead, but Jenny's dad, who is a doctor, says she didn't actually die. He adds that she was only unconscious for a while, but her heart didn't stop. This leaves Stefani and Charlie shocked, and they realize that they're still on Death's list. Suddenly, Stefani senses that something is about to happen, and before she can figure it out, a timber-carrying freight train derails into town and crushes the houses nearby. Charlie and Stefani quickly run away, but they eventually get crushed before they can escape.